Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Ooh, I have some coffee grounds in here. Oh, well, I like coffee grounds. Good morning, Phibbsville. Phibbsville. For those of you who do not know what a Phibbsville is, Fibsville, it's the Friends in the Boxville. It's all of you. Yeah, it's all of you. Look, I'm wearing the bracelet I got from Norma, Branson Limo. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? It's so comfortable. I don't like to wear it a lot when I'm doing my art because I don't want to mess it up, but I really do like it. It goes with the blouse that I'm wearing today. So, good morning. It's time to wake up, time to do some art. That's good coffee. I have been working this weekend on borders, Art Deco borders, just doing doodles. How fun is that? Let's see if I can zoom in a little. There we go. Yeah. And my camera seems to be back in working order. I'm not sure. We'll hold our breath. So I'm working in my August art journal this morning, but I'm also working in this little morning pages journal. And morning pages is a technique, a creative technique by, I think it's Julia Cameron. And this is actually out of the Flow book. It was sent to me by Annie V. And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do some little morning pages when I open up my art stream. Good morning, Lori. How are you doing? Hi, Christy. I had Christy on my brain. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Azure. Good morning, Azure. Azure sent in her drawing to get reviewed by Peter Draws. Is that correct, Azure? I'm watching. I haven't got there to your drawing yet, but I'm watching what he's doing. Let's see. I want to make sure that I got my earbuds in. I need to take out my earbuds here because I hear myself echoing. Let's put my earbuds over. All right. No recently used apps. All right. Well, here we go. Yeah, I can't wait to see it, Azure. I can't wait to see it. Peter Draws. I have watched him for a long time. I have to laugh because when I very first started on YouTube and I did a drawing, and I have a thought that it might be Peter. I'm not sure, but on one of my drawings, some Peter, I can't remember who it was because it was so long ago, made a comment about my drawing. He said, "You have some talent." Oh, yay! I'm glad you think so. But that could have been anybody. And I think that was before he kind of went back to his conservative look. He used to have all this long hair and everything, but he shaved his beard and got a haircut, and he's kind of cleaned up a little the last couple videos. And I have to say, I kind of like it. He cleans up good. He is such a creative soul. He is so creative. So let's paint. Let's do my morning page. Look at this one with those birds. Aren't those fun? Tweet, tweet. And thrift. What I do is I paint one side and then I just write a little thought on the other side. I've already done my brain dump this morning. I did my brain dump, trying to think, my brain dump, whatever. Trying to think what I was going to do for today. You should send some in next time he does it again. I don't know. He'd probably give me some constructive criticism and I'd probably get my feelings hurt. No, I honestly think when he was very first, one of my very first impressions when I listened to that video where he reviewed everybody, he goes, I don't know if I'm going to use the word critique or judge. And then he was saying how he's not good at critiquing. Then I think he ended up using the word judge. And I'm going, no, you need to do the word critique. But do you notice him when you listen to what he says? He really never says anything bad about any. I mean, I've been listening for some remarks that he said that would kind of take me back if it were my drawing that he was reviewing, and I haven't heard anything. So I think when he reviews on these art pieces, I think he's sticking to the positive side of things. So I haven't got to yours yet, Azure. I'll listen for it. I saw your post on Facebook and I said, oh, I got to go look. All right. You love his creativity, and he's going through stages of hair all the time, but I like when he looks a bit crazy. I don't know. I like his crazy look because I think that fits his personality, but I kind of like his conservative look. I don't know. I think that when he has a cleaned up look with the short hair and the shaven beard and all of that, I think he projects a nice image for our youth, our youngsters. He's saying it doesn't hurt to clean up a little, kids. But because I'm sure that there are a lot of the younger kids that listen to him. So let's put it this way. If he were a school teacher and I were on the school board, and if something such as teacher dress came up, I think I would vote on the conservative side, just because I think that sets a good example. Now, that doesn't mean he has to wear a shirt and tie every day, but I don't mind people being casual. I'm sitting here being casual, but I'm also not showing my face. But I don't know. If somebody was influencing my kids, I would lean toward him having a clean look. Now, that's just me. That's me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with blue jeans and beards and a crazy look. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, what do you prefer and what do you want to project to the world? But that's me. That's my personality. I get it that other people lend toward other styles. I get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with the other side either. So, all right, this is such a pretty blue. Look, I have some left over here. Where's my dictionary when I want it? It's right behind you, Mary. Reach. Let's smear some of this here. Of course, that's a page that has already been painted on. Let's just smear some here. I just want to get it off my brush a little before I put it in the water. There we go. Now I have to get this out of the wind. Of course, I'm still using my wastebasket as a table, even though I hunted out other things. All right. He's really nice to everyone. Yes, he is. I like his personality. He comes across good, and he's doing a really good job on his channel. People like him. I think people gave him crap about the wording he was using, but it's all just for fun. That's all it is. Yeah. But still, there's that public image. And yeah, it may just be for fun, but, I don't know. I'm not going to critique him. I like him. He sticks to the positive, but his face speaks all. Mine is not till 1:30 in the, okay. Well, I'm watching from the start because I do like to hear what's on his mind. I like to hear his thoughts. I like to hear him express. And he really doesn't say anything negative about, so far I've been listening to anything that might be construed as negative, and I don't hear it. And that's what I like about it. I don't hear anything negative about any of the pieces that's, now I haven't listened to the whole thing. I am going to put this watch on here. Right in here. We'll just let that sit for a minute. He looks nice when he cleans up. Yes, he does. He has a crazy amount of followers of all ages. Yes, he does. When he looks disheveled, he reminds me of Albert Einstein. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, he does kind of. I guess as Albert Einstein can have that look, he can. Let's move my camera just a little. My YouTube is cooperating with me with my camera. I did those borders. I did those borders this weekend, and what I have to tell you is when I downloaded the files, and there's no sound on them, but I used Firefox, but I'm using Chrome this morning. So I'm going to have to go in there and see. I know YouTube takes control of the mic now. I'm not quite sure how I feel about YouTube giving YouTube control of my camera and my mic, because if they mute the sound, if something happens where it gets muted, I can't control it because they have control over it. So, and that kind of happened to my Firefox, but I'm going to have to get in there and see what happened. I just noticed it. Oh, that's good coffee this morning. You watched the whole thing last night while you painted. You had a secret word at the end? Oh, no, I'm going to have to listen. Hi, Kimberly. Good morning, Kimberly. Let's see, who else have I missed? Lori's in here. Lori loves Montana, and Teresa is in here. She said good morning to everyone, and Azure's here. Good morning to all you early birds. Well, my pen ran out of ink this weekend, so I did bring in another one. Let's see if this is the one that ran out or. Okay. So today is Monday, August 12th. Oh my goodness, it's almost the middle of August. And what is the word for today? Well, what do you think it is? The word for today is time. 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 Let's go ahead and glue the time. Now, I know when, I guess you can say when my parents and my teachers were teaching me their values, if you could say that, I can remember them talking about time and how we use our time and how important it is to use our time wisely. So, and to think about how you're using your time. Not to say that you have to be active every minute of the day, because, well, that can wear you out. Let's just put this kind of right in the center. This is kind of wet yet. It's damp. We'll just let that sit. But I was thinking this morning, I belong to the Creative Arts Collaboration Group. Let's get my...
Sure that I got my earbuds in. I'm going to take out my earbuds here.
Let's stop that.
Because I hear my...
I have to turn my sound off here. Sounds. Volume, volume, volume. There we go. Let me know if you guys hear me. There we go. He did 275 photos. Wow, that's a lot of photos. Wow, that's a lot of photos. You were hollering so you would hear me, Kimberly. Oh, you were hollering at Lori? I'm glad you were, because I wasn't watching chat. Kimberly says, I didn't know if you could hear me over Bentley's hair dryer. My sound's good? All right, good. Thank you, Azure. So I'm just going to leave this right here for a minute. So time. But it's not time so much that I want to talk about, but what we're doing every day. Now, I have been so involved for the last several years on my YouTube channel. And it isn't only time. There's a subtopic here of what if? And I don't want to get too negative here because I want to follow Peter's example. I want to stay positive. That's one reason I'm doing my morning pages, is to get some positivity into my life the first thing in the morning. But what if YouTube decided they weren't going to be YouTube anymore? Or what if they took a whole different business tactic? What if they, instead of us being able to create our own channels from our little desk out in the middle of Podunk, what if we had to do like the big mainstream publishers do and submit everything to an editor? I would go bonkers. I mean, because I could just hear them saying to me, I'm way back here. I'm lagging here. Let me get my red dot. I could hear an editor saying to me, Mary, you're blurry. You're blurry. You're loud. You giggle too much. I can hear all of the criticisms coming across because when they publish those books and everything, they have editors that, of course, want to put out a good product. So they look for, they look for misspellings, and they probably look for structure. They look for things like interest, if it's something that they want to publish. All of that they're looking for. They're editing your content. And I'm just going, I'm not sure I want anybody. I had a comment. I called it a snarky comment of somebody who came just recently. I deleted the comment because I was dealing with my YouTube. Hi, Christy. Good morning, Christy. Lori said, it's not quite time for his royalness to have his morning bubble bath. Oh, I love you guys. You make me giggle. But I say a lot. I say a lot. And I was listening to my replay, my chat on, because I do listen to my replays. I listen to my replays mostly because I try to catch what I missed in chat. And with me dealing with this computer issue that I've had the last week, I've been missing a lot of what you guys say. I like to have my phone right here on the desk where I can look over and hopefully catch anything. Yeah, I think a lot of people, Azure, would have to find new places to play. And then on the other hand, though, I do think YouTube needs some competition, because this is one thing that I was listening to a person who, and this was a gentleman, and he was doing cat videos. Maybe you saw it. I don't know. It came across my feed. I don't watch many cat videos, but he had this title that kind of drew you in about leaving YouTube, and call it clickbait. I don't think it was really meant as clickbait because it really related to what he had to say. But the title did draw me in. I wanted to hear his thoughts because I have a lot of thoughts about YouTube. And he was saying he had several channels, but he was thinking about closing this one down because YouTube is messing with something in the background the last couple of weeks. And it's really affecting the creators as far as watch time and subbies and all that. And he showed where he has over 1 million subbies, but his graph went like this. I mean, it went off the cliff. It fell over the cliff. And he was really disappointed. And he was saying something that I feel like YouTube, they really don't listen to the creator. And in a way, I understand it, because if they listened to every creator, they would have so much hitting them, so many. I mean, it's like herding cats. I would be saying one thing, somebody else would be saying something else, and all of that. So sometimes they have to make their business decisions in their best interest. And I get that. I understand that. But on the other hand, what they are doing with their algorithm and everything, nobody knows what's going on. They give you guidelines, but the guidelines are so generic that you can't, and I've said this before to YouTube on a discussion post, that it's so unstable for the creators that we can't plan. We can't plan. I can't make any plans. I can't set goals because I don't know how my content is going to be received. Because, I have watched over the last several months. There's one thing I see that's been a constant this year. It's not a positive thing. They do scans for monetization the middle of the month, around the middle of the month. And about 2 or 3 days before they do their scan, they cut my subscribers and they cut my watch time. And that has been a constant every month. And they say, oh, we're cutting out invalid views. We're cutting out bots and all of that. And I'm sitting there going, I don't think I have that many bots hitting my channel. If I were a big channel, like 2-3 million subscribers, yeah, I might be getting hit with bots. But I'm not that big of a channel. And I really do think that algorithm goes through and cuts certain amounts, a certain percentage. I watched and I've said this before, and I'm not saying it negative. It's a fact that I'm seeing out there right now this year. Maybe it'll change, but I'm seeing them cut. It varies between 8 and 10% every month of my monetization. And I've said to them, how would you feel if your employer, before you got your paycheck, you pay all your taxes? Let's say you were an employee. We're not employees, but if your boss that you worked full time for just cut 10% of your check and didn't tell you why, wouldn't that upset you a little? And it would upset me. It doesn't upset me about YouTube, except for it sounds like I'm venting, but I'm not really venting. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. So this gets back to the what if. What if YouTube said, oh, we're going to change our entire business philosophy. We're not going to let people, it's not going to become YouTube anymore. It's us-tube. It's we-tube. They'd have to change the U in YouTube. They'd have to change it to our tube or something like that, or not even my tube. They'd have to change it to something that would fit their company. Google Tube or something like that. And if I had to go through an editor, I would probably just, say no way, because and I think a lot of the creators on YouTube are so independent. They want to go out there and, yeah, we make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, we don't have the best equipment. We have what we can afford. Some of us have, some of us are really creative and have creative equipment, and some people do beautiful things, and a lot of us others, we grow as we do our channels. But what if there were no more YouTube? That's what I'm getting at. What if there were no more YouTube? I have to tell you, what would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? What would get me up? I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do these early morning streams. Would I be getting up? Would I be having the same, I don't want to say zest for life, but the same enthusiasm? And I was thinking about that in my own personal life. I was thinking, would I be enthused about getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to read a book? I mean, yeah, as we get older, we have different sleep habits, but would I be enthused about getting up in the morning and reading a book? Would that draw me in? I would probably read the book because I couldn't sleep, but would I want to get up? When I get up in the mornings and do my stream, I want to. I want to get out here and have my cup of coffee and do my art. And I have to say, I do my art because I talk to you guys. Here's the next question. Would I do my art in the morning? I love doing the art, but would I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I didn't have you guys to talk to? Would I do my art at 4 a.m.? I have to say, if you could look at the past and judge something like this by in the past, I never before got up at 4 a.m. to do art. No way. I went to the University of Nebraska, and I had a hard time getting up at 7:30 in the morning to go to class. I had a roommate who lived, well, not my roommate, I had a dorm mate. I still laugh. I had a 7:30 in the morning French class. She would slam the door. She would pull the covers off of me. She would, short of everything, of throwing water on me, and I turned over and went back to sleep. But I also worked. When you're young like that, I didn't party. I did not party. It was just, it was the college life. I was up late. I was putting too much in my life. I had no transportation. I had to walk every place I went. And that was a big campus. Plus, you had to walk downtown if you wanted to go shopping. And that was probably a half a mile from the dorm to downtown. And I walked it several times a week. There were buses, but I never really took the bus. I always walked. I was a lot skinnier, too. But would I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do my art? I'd probably still be doing my art because I've done my art all my life. But would I get up at 4? I'm not sure. I don't think I'd have that same draw to it. And I can tell you, my art has changed significantly because of YouTube. Glue booking. I never glue booked before I watched my channels. I never glue booked. That was for a different type of person, a different type of artist. That wasn't what I did. And now I that's the magazines that I'm harvesting. I never harvest. Well, maybe in grade school, we made these little construction paper books that we pasted pictures of cows in. I can remember doing that. We did the blanket stitch around there, but we didn't do it as a hobby. We did it as a school exercise. Other things, ways that YouTube has influenced my art journals. I've done sketchbooks as an artist, but I never really called them art journals. I called them sketchbooks, and they were sketchbooks. I drew. Drawing is my strength, and I've done drawing almost my entire life. I'm not good yet. Well, let's put it that way. I'm good, but I'm not a realistic drawer. I have kind of a pseudo-realism. I have an illustrative style, which suits me fine. But I'm not anybody who will spend hours and hours and hours trying to replicate a photograph. To me, that's silliness. So what if all of this that we have, and what about my social life? You guys, you're my social almost. Hi, Linda McAllister. Good morning. Good morning, Linda. Hello. You guys are, I can get onto YouTube and I can talk to somebody over in the Netherlands at 4 o'clock in the morning here. I can talk to somebody over in New Zealand or Australia or the UK. I can talk to somebody in Florida or next door. That just amazes me. I could not do that 5 years, well, maybe 5 years ago I could. But let's just say when I was in high school, I couldn't do that. So YouTube has really significantly added to my art, I don't want to say career because it's not really a career, to my art adventures, let's put it that way. YouTube has, over the past 6 years, I've been on YouTube about 6 years and 2 or 3 months. And it's really added a lot of value to my life. And if it were taken away from me, I don't know, I would have an adjustment. So I'm just going to put adjustment here. How would I adjust? I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that. So I'm just going to put a question mark there. I would have to think about it. Think about it. Then that got me to thinking all of this time structure here. It got me to thinking where I pour my time every day. Of course, I come in, I do my early morning streams, then I kind of clean up my area and get my breakfast, even though I have coffee, and I'll take a morning nap. And then I'll probably listen to some YouTube. Like yesterday morning, I did my borders and Tanya came on. I was in and out of Tanya's stream. I listened to Dee streams. So, and I listen, of course, to Lisa and Tanya and Beth and Aunt Beck. I listen to those streams almost constantly now every week. So how would that change? How would that change? And I don't think it's anything I'm worrying about, but it's something I'm thinking about. Where would I put my time? I think that I would still, I think this whole experience of doing my YouTube channel has made me think more about things like this. Just like doing my morning pages. This is really, I've gone on more than I want to here. I should want to keep this short. I think I'm just going to stop here because I've verbalized more than I've written, and maybe I'll go in and write more afterwards. I think I'll stop right there as far as words, and maybe I'll come in here and let's play with this white Krylon pen. But yeah, YouTube has significantly, I would like to say Facebook has too, but I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook as much anymore. I have, let's just say I have a word of caution to myself. I don't post as much out there. When I post in groups that I'm comfortable with, like Aunt Beck's and the Creative Arts Collaboration Group. I don't post as much even on my own page. I like to express myself on my page, and not everybody would agree with me on things, and you get into all these verbal, especially Politico. In 2016, I think I kind of stopped. I slowed down my posting in 2016 with the with the election. It was just getting messy out there. It was getting messy. So I'm not sure I would go to Facebook. I don't know what would happen. And let's see, I'm just playing with this here. I need more juice. I need more juice. Give me more juice. Well, let's just do some lines here. I'm not going to dwell on this too much either. Put juice down here in the corner. Come on, juice. Juice it up. There it comes. I don't know. I'm just kind of doodling here. Doesn't have to be perfect. She keeps saying, I don't have to be perfect in my art journal. I'm going to leave it that. And I like to play with this washi tape, that Walmart washi tape. Let's get this red and white out. Let's get out the red and white. Let's just put some washi tape on here. So I really don't have anything. I'm kind of coming on here extemporaneous, so to speak. I don't have anything planned to do this morning. I'm just kind of playing. It's a play day. And I have to say, this washi tape is starting to, I don't know. I have to cut it. I have a hard time tearing it lately. Let's put some washi tape on here. The stripes kind of mimic these stripes. Let's put some up here. So I'm thinking about getting back to all of this over here. There are creators out there who create their channels to make a living. And I don't know if that's, I understand why they would want to do that. But, and they would probably be the ones that say, okay, YouTube, just tell me the rules and I'll obey. Because they would probably have to, but listening to this guy's video, you know, you have two reactions. I'm going, you have over 1 million subscribers. Your video that you did here, I looked at the comment count. It was like, you know, 2 or 3K views and 600 comments. I'm going, yeah, well, what if you were under 10,000 subscribers and get 1 or 2 comments on each video you did? How would you feel? But then, you know, he probably was there at one time. And I was saying that I was a part of the creative collaboration group, creative art collaboration group on Facebook, which are YouTube artists that get together and talk. And they were talking about their drop in views on one of the threads. And there was a post out there about the algorithm. And if you watch it, this person who posted wound up on saying you have to improve your thumbnails and your titles, which has been out there forever. People have been saying that forever. Improve your thumbnails, improve your titles, and it'll draw people in. I'm not so sure about that. Look at Shannon Green. She doesn't spend a lot of time on thumbnails. She might on her titles maybe a little bit more because she's got that personality. And it's the personality, I think, that draws people in. It's your personality. It's the way you communicate with your community. I think that's the draw. But this guy, on the one that was posted in our group, he said he was going to go to more clickbait titles. And I'm not so sure about that either. I think it has to do with the way you interact with the people you do have in your community. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. I'm not interacting this morning. Let's see. Wow, you guys are talking away. Did you watch my video? I haven't watched your video yet, Linda. I'll have to go out and watch it. I kind of had some downtime this weekend. I kind of needed it. I've come out of 2 weeks of fighting this video, getting my webcam set back up. It caused a lot of stress in my life. I can tell you now that it's set back up again, I can't tell you how better I feel. Even physically, I don't have that strain in my life anymore. They're saying good morning to Linda. I'll go out and watch it, Linda. You're talking about your most recent one? Azure says, I've been online for about 25 years. I would be really lost without it. In fact, I know I would be really cranky without it. If I have a thirsty mind to learn, and I would hate losing the world. See, that's a good point, Azure. YouTube, I was thinking about how YouTube, unknowingly, I think kind of became I want to learn something, so I'm going to go on YouTube and see if somebody has an answer for this. And of course, most of the time there is. Somebody else has experienced it, and they'll post a video about it, and you learn from them. Although I'm not one for tutorials. My own reaction with tutorials are, how many beginning art journal tutorials do we need out there? How many times do we have to have people tell us how to do a fussy cut or collage a page? And I don't have anything against other people doing tutorials, and I know that they're good and they draw people to your channel, and I know all of that, but I'm going, somebody else is already the expert out there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a big one on creating tutorials on my channel. I know it's evergreen content. Evergreen meaning 5 years from now, somebody who's searching it might open up your video and watch it. Whereas mine are not evergreen. Mine is more about my day and my time and my thought of the day. It's more of a spontaneous thing. But I agree with Azure that YouTube has become very much I don't want to say a base of knowledge, but it has in a certain sense become a video base of knowledge. Linda says, same here, Azure. I do remember the time I had an old B-pin modem. Azure says, I've learned so much from people I've met online and things I've found. The world has gotten so much smaller as far as contact, but even knowing I will most likely never go to most places. I get it, Azure. I would love to travel the world. Like, you know how Linda came over here to the States? Now, I've been to Mexico and I've been to England, but those are probably as far as countries outside of the United States. I haven't been to Canada yet. I really haven't been to the Netherlands or New Zealand or Australia physically, but to be able to jump online and see places around the world that we would never get to see otherwise, how cool is that? How cool is that? Do you remember the first pictures online? It's all a click away as far as I can learn anything in a few clicks. I'm spoiled. Spoiled but blessed. We as a culture are blessed to have all of these. We're the recipient of a lot of people, a lot of our ancestors, when, you know, they have, and even we're the recipient of a lot of people, even in industry. Just take building scanners, for example. My first scanner cost me about $900 way back then. It was a nice scanner. I liked it, and it worked fine. It was an HP, and it worked fine until they didn't make the drivers anymore. They wouldn't update the drivers when as Windows updated. They didn't update the driver for my scanner, And I eventually had to get rid of it because it was just unusable anymore. And now I don't have a scanner. I have a phone. One of the first people I met was this amazing Dutch kid that he taught me how to make a web page. He was so smart. We Dutchies are smart, Linda says. You guys, you are smart. You are smart. Azure says, I did it too. I stayed awake for 24 hours and did it by hand. Linda says, same here. I made tons of websites, HTML coded. He helped me so much, Azure says. I wouldn't let me use an editor. He said that was cheating. I love it. But he really just wanted to know me to know how to do it so I could figure out what was wrong. That was a smart move. Could you still do a hard-coded website? Linda's asking. Hi, Joey. Good morning, Joey. How are you doing this morning? Mary, the way it works, if I don't go to your channel, I don't see a notice from your feed in mine. So if you want to see someone normally, make sure you go to their channels. Yes. See, that's another way YouTube, I hate to say manipulates, because I don't think they do it consciously. They just haven't figured out that, if I post a video, if anybody posts a video, it should go out to their subscribers. No, they have to send it through this algorithm to figure out if people really want to see your video. Well, let the person who's getting the notice decide if they want to see it or not. Well, then they put this bell thing in here, ring the bell. Do you want to see it occasionally? Do you want to see it all the time? Or do you never want to see it? Well, if you never want to see my videos, why are you subscribed to me? I don't get it. I just said, if I were running YouTube, I'd get rid of the notification system. And I would just when I put up a video, when I start a live stream, it would just send a note. It would just send it out to all my subscribers. It wouldn't have all this figuring out whether somebody wants to see me or not. And the same way with a posting a video. When you post a video, they go through all this. How much watch time did you have on your last video? I'm going to look at your thumbnail. I'm going to look at your title. I'm going to try to categorize. Yeah, baloney. Just post it. Let other people who see it figure out if they want to watch it. I don't know. I think they try too hard sometimes to index and categorize things, where if they just leave things alone, and it's kind of like the free market. It's just kind of let the free market decide it. They're trying to manipulate the free market. And I don't think they're trying to do it subversively. I don't think they're trying to be subversive about it. I don't think they're trying to do anything underhanded. They're just trying to control things a little bit more than if they would just let the public decide. Just let the free market decide. I think we'd be much better off. But that's just my opinion. I'm not an expert. I just have a thought. They're talking, Linda and Azure, in a conversation about coding and how it's changed for like the web pages and all of that. Hi, Shelley. Good morning, Shelley. Good evening, good night for you, probably. Shelley said hello to Joey. Linda's saying hello. Joey says, hi, Mary, Linda, and Shelley, or Crafty Mama. I have been nowhere, and I love to go everywhere. You're a traveler via my PC. You're an armchair traveler. That concept has changed over the years. It used to be, look, all these travel catalogs and magazines. Now it's get on YouTube and or online and travel that way. I'm very much like that. In fact, my September theme is going to be postcards. And I got 3 packages of travel postcards. And here's the interesting thing, talking about YouTube. Elena pointed out that was probably a Catholic family with those postcards. And they were probably traveling around to visit on a pilgrimage to visit different churches around. I'm not sure, because I'm not Catholic. I'm not sure what the concept is. But I very much agree with that because there's 3 big packages of postcards from all over the place. And she pointed out the name. So I thought, I wonder if that family is local here. And so I took the name on the postcard and I Googled it. And I did find out that the man and the wife have passed away now. They got grandkids. I found the picture of the wife, and I don't think that it would be proper for me to post that or even link to it, even though it is online. I'm not sure that they would want me to talk about them in a personal way on my channel, but I did find out about them. They're a very interesting family. But here's the thing. You sit there and you read all those messages on the back of their postcards, and even though there's nothing in there, I think that it's more like, hi, I'm at such and such a place today, and we're going to go do this. I don't think I'd read anything personal, but it's such a joy to read that, and it's almost like you're traveling with them. I'm not sure exactly. When I want to share some of those postcards, but I might share the ones that don't have written messages on the back. I'm not sure. I don't want to violate their privacy, but I'm sure enjoying those postcards. Hi, Mitzi. Linda says, Mitzi. Good morning, Mitzi. Welcome, welcome. So, this is I don't have very much of a brain dump that I wrote down this morning, but I sure had a verbal brain dump, didn't I? I'm going to write, I had a verbal brain dump on YouTube channel. A verbal brain dump on YouTube live stream about what would happen if YouTube disappeared. We'll put it that, or changed. I'm going to put YouTube disappeared or drastically changed their, or drastically altered, which they do all the day, but all the time. They're operating their I'm just going to say operating philosophy. I do think that some of these businesses, including YouTube and Google and Facebook, get so large, they are so successful that it's very hard for smaller places to compete with them. But I do think they need the competition. If they don't have the competition, just like I'm not one for competitive art, but if they don't have the competition, they're running the show and what they say goes. And that's true. I mean, that's a truth. If you're on YouTube, you got to abide by their rules and their guidelines. You can't put pornography on YouTube. But on the other hand, I don't want it to be so free that, people get run over either. So I don't know. I'm just going to say I had a verbal brain dump, and I'm going to end it there. And then I'm going to cite it Mary at because I think I said more than I wrote this morning. That's okay. But it is a thought. What the whole gist of this is, what if there were no more YouTube? What would get me up at 4 a.m. in the morning to do a 4-hour live stream? Would I, that's the whole point of this. Where would I be putting my time if I didn't have YouTube? Would I be going to the library more? I don't know. I tell you one thing, I'd probably be pushing the vacuum cleaner around here a little bit more. So let's close this out and move on. Let's close it out and move on. I got this set of stencils. I think I got them at Walmart. I had to laugh at Aunt Beck. She said, "We're not shopping at Walmart anymore." She said, "I'm sorry, Walmart people." And I'm going, "It's all I have, Aunt Becky." Locally here, I have to go 60, 70 miles to even find Hobby Lobby. So I did get these at Walmart. I'm pretty sure I did. So there's an example of all those big businesses. Walmart is the big business. Our little local regional store, they were a department store and I got to get my pliers out. They were a department store and a grocery store regionally. And here last year, they liquidated their department store. They had all this. Well, I bought all sorts of paints and everything. They were a little bit too high priced for me because they were retail, but they couldn't compete with all the things that Walmart does, you know. So they had to liquidate. It was last year. Their grocery store is still people like to shop there. Their prices are a little bit higher than Walmart, but anyway, I got this at Walmart. I'm going to, it's 3 stencils. I'll save this for something. And it's one big one. Maybe you can see it if I put it on my desk. See, it's one big one. I'm going to leave that one alone. I like that. Maybe I'll put that in that cardboard. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop down some of these others. Maybe I'll print. Do I want to put that in half? No, I think I'll just cut it in half this way. And then there's this one. I'm going to make these 12 by 12s a little bit smaller so I can handle them. These larger ones, I don't know. I like the, and these are ones that you can divide. That one may be a little. I don't know. If I chop in half, it's going to be 2 halves of the same thing. And if I cut it vertically this way, I would want at least 2. I think I'll just leave it in half and decide later. This is good. I kind of prefer them about 9 by 6, my stencils. These big ones are fun, but I don't want big ones. See, in the same way with this one, this is a really large stencil here. I really only need probably about 3/4 of this. But this, now this, I don't know. I guess I think I'll cut this right in here and let these 3 motifs go on one and these on the other. Or I could just cut this out here and I could do it in thirds. We'll see as I get there. But I'm just going to cut these down a little. I'll use them more. I'll use them more if they're smaller. If they're bigger, I won't use them as much. For art journaling purposes. That big one, I do like that big one. I think I'm going to cut this one right. Shall I leave that on there? No, I don't hang it up. They don't leave you much cutting space, but I guess this is okay. Yeah, see, I would use this one like this a lot more than if it were attached to these. Do I want to leave these? I think I will. So let's, as long as I have one out. Oh no, let's do these. Let's do these. Let's get out my art journal. Oh no, let's get my dictionary out. Let's do some stenciling in my dictionary. Let's look at chat again. What are you guys chatting about? Thank you, Azure. Mary, consider making a journal with them and then give it. Make a journal with what, Azure? With the stencils? Let's see. What are you guys talking about here? Mitzi said, good morning. Linda said she's lucky she didn't see a lot of the world. Azure says she's a traveler through her PC. What a great way to start a Monday morning. Ditsy Mitzi, hi Cami. Mary, consider making a journal with them and then give them it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Azure, about the journal. Love the stencils. Morning, Miss Mary. Tony. Hi, Tony. See, Tony is one of our UK friends. Good morning, Tony. Yeah, we're pretty good here. Not complaining. Leave them big for watercolor pages. You do. Oops. I use them more if they're smaller, Azure. If they're bigger, I don't know. I don't use them as much. My computer died, Shelley said, so I miss it a lot. Your laptop, your desktop, do you still, what do you stream on? Shelley, when you stream, do you stream on your phone or iPad or? Ouch, Shelley, Linda says. Make a journal with the postcards. Oh, and then give it back to the family. What a great idea. But the thing of it is, I think I would have to find the right person in the family to give it to, because these were donated probably by a family member. He died in 2004, I think, and she died a few years later. Or they had a couple years. They've been gone a couple years. And I have a feeling that their family probably cleaned out and donated. I got them at Goodwill. They were not selling on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? If you bought these at a thrift store, they would be selling for $1 a piece. I got 3 big bags for $3 a bag, which has to have at least 200 postcards in each bag. Not quite that many, but a lot of postcards in each bag. Less than a penny a postcard. Oh, I'm not going to go back in with my YouTube conversation. In fact, I'm not really upset with YouTube. But let me tell you, Shelley, a lot of people are upset with YouTube. They have really drastically, they've done something in the last couple of weeks that's cutting people's view time, and their subby counts have gone down. I've seen a little with mine. There's a post about it in the Creative Arts Collaboration group, but there's also a post, I've seen some videos, and I was just sharing with that video. Oh, you're out of the loop. You're just working too much? Well, you know what? You just keep working, Crafty, Shelley, because Shelley, I got onto this conversation on YouTube because I was doing this morning page about time. And I wasn't really ranting about YouTube this morning. I was putting what would get me up in the morning if we didn't have YouTube? This is what my topic was this morning. Where would I put my time? What would get me up at 4:30 in the morning, or at 4? I get up at 4 so I can stream at 4:30. What would be that enthusiasm? What would get me so enthused that I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning like I do for my streams? That really makes me think. And like I said before, I don't think I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to read a book. I know I wouldn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to push a vacuum cleaner. I might, possibly, perhaps, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to a part-time job. Just say I had to be at work at 7 or 7:30 or even 8, and I needed to get things done before I left. That might get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but that part of my life is over with. I'm retired. What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like my YouTube streams? And then we got into this, what would happen if there were no more YouTube? So I'm not really mad at YouTube this morning. In fact, I'm very grateful that my camera is up working again. So that was a conversation that you missed, Shelley. You're out of the loop. You're just working too much. Well, here's the thing, Shelley. I think if you have that job and if you're working at it, I think you should keep working at it. Put your heart into it if you need to. We miss you. We miss you. And, I want you to keep streaming and all of that. But what if YouTube was pulled out from underneath of us? You would have that job. I've been thinking about getting a part-time job, but I don't know. I like I said, that part of my life is over with. Let's go with this blue. And let's go with a sponge. And I have a sponge that I need to cut the dried paint off of. Cut it down just a little here. And here's the other thing, not only YouTube, these little wedgie sponges, makeup sponges. I get so mad. I get so mad because I find things that I like and then they take them off the shelf. They got those round ones out there now. I'm having a hard time finding the little wedgies. I found them at Dollar General and then now they're all gone again. Maybe because I buy them up. I was cussing out Joanne's because my Miss Sparkles tape is not in the $2 bins hasn't been in the $2 bins for several months now. I find products that I like and then they disappear. I don't understand that. Extreme Glue. The Extreme Glue sticks. We love them. But I try to find them retail. You can find them on Amazon. I get it. I understand. Let's see. I don't know if I like it that way. Let's go this way. Let's do a little free stuff here. I don't know. Sometimes, and here it gets back to the thought of, is the market listening to us? Or are they just doing, maybe they did a study in one area and nobody was interested, so they took them off the market or something. I don't know. I don't know. And since I'm being controversial this morning, I think I'll add to it with some thoughts here that I saw in a book. I brought it in this morning. And this is related to art, but it's kind of related to art before, well, YouTube might have been out there, but not as much. I think YouTube got its start in 2006. And this book was published in I think the copyright date is 1998. And it's published by a person who has their master's degree in, well, I'll read it, but I want to say art education. And I was reading out of it the other morning and I read some things and I said, huh? So it doesn't hurt to rebel a little for good reasons. Let's just kind of take the rest of this, and I don't know if I can. Just kind of smoosh it out a little here. If I didn't have YouTube, it would probably be a sin to reckon a dictionary this way by stenciling in here and tearing out pages. That's another thing that I probably did not do before YouTube. YouTube's made Mary a rebel. Help. I kind of like that. Oh, but I did it on that one's just blank. So let's see. What do I have on here? Let's do something on here. get out another stencil here. This is metallic, so I think I'll go with a black. Let's go with a little black on here. Shall I do more than one? You know, I'm not sure I like. This, I don't know. Let's do this. So I guess my whole thought is, what were you like before YouTube, and what would you be like if YouTube disappeared? If YouTube disappeared, where would you put your time? What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Would art really get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I didn't have you guys to talk to? I'm not so sure that it would. I like doing art. I love doing all of this. I love live streaming. It's what gets me up in the morning. I would probably do more gardening. I would probably do more pulling weeds and stuff like that than I do today. I'd probably be planting more. I might be doing something like my brother does. When he gets so many tomatoes and cucumbers that he gets tired of them too, he gets tired of eating them, he'll take the excess. They get ahead of us. There's only 2 of us here, and he'll put them out there on our terrace and give them away. And people take them. People love them. So I could see myself doing a little free flower cart, you know, put some flowers out on the terrace and say, come pick a bouquet or take a bouquet home with you on your way home today. Something like that I could do. That might get me up in the morning, you know, because you'd probably have to pick them daily. You couldn't, you know, they would wilt. You could keep them in water, but if you put them out on the terrace, they would probably. Let's put just a little teeny bit in here. So I'd probably have to change my ways if I didn't have my YouTube, but I'm thankful for what I have here. It'll be interesting to see where YouTube is 5 years from now. They have changed drastically, I surmise. I started on YouTube in 2013, but I think YouTube itself started about 2006. Yep. We'll leave it like that. So that's the extent of my stenciling this morning. So I'm going to get a little controversial here. I'm going to read out of this book. And I have to find did I mark it here? Whoops, I better pull this out. I got an address there. Did I mark it? No. This book was Art for the Fun of It. Let me get my dictionary out here. And I got it at Goodwill. But what a great book. It was written by Peggy Davison Jenkins. It was published in 1980. So I was thinking 98 or 99. It was published in 1980. So that's way before YouTube. But she is here. Peggy Davison Jenkins is an educator who is deeply concerned with the need for greater creativity in today's children. To this end, she designed sense adventures and imagination adventures. She's also taught many teacher and parent education classes to help further promote children's creativity. I said she had a master's degree. She holds a PhD. She's a doctorate. Dr. Jenkins holds a PhD in education and has written The Magic of Puppetry, Prentice Hall. She lives in Bellevue, Washington, with her husband and 2 children. That was in 1980. But I was reading, I did take art education at the university. I had a difference of opinion with my teachers about how art should be taught. Though I never really taught in school. And I stick to my story here. I stuck to my guns on my thoughts. Let's see if I can get here. I was reading about the methods used in teaching art. And some of these things I got dirty hands here, but oops. I agree with a lot of them. Creative expression, assigned topics, copying. Now, I do agree with this. Copy experiences consist of reproducing the likenesses of a model, picture, or design. We used to go to, when I was studying art at the university, we would go into the Sheldon Art Gallery there and, study the paintings. We'd go up to Omaha at Jocelyn. Jocelyn Museum had a lot more famous art than Sheldon did, but I wouldn't call it copying, but inspired by, like if we get out a book like this and it had a picture and it inspires you and, you work off of it. It's not really copying in a sense it is, but as long as you're not sitting there tracing it. Coffee. But this, the effect of dictated art on the child. So what is dictated art? Well, I had to look that up, but she goes into a lot of things that I agree with. I'm not going to read it all to you, but this part on dictated art really, I've got to clean my hands a little. It's bugging me here. It really interested me. What is dictated art? I'm not sure that I heard the term dictated art in my background. Dictated art. Who dictates art? So let's look at that a little bit more. It says, how does dictated art, and then in parentheses, now remember this was written in 1980. In parentheses, she puts coloring books are the most prevalent form of dictated art. Now, she did not have the advantage of going on YouTube or going down to her local dollar store and picking up color books for adults. Coloring books for adults probably did not exist in 1980. If they did, they were not popular. They were not as prevalent as they are today. And I can just hear the people out there who love the color say it relaxes me. It relaxes me so much. I love to come home after, and I'm talking I don't use coloring books in my art. I have different opinions about it, but I really don't have the patience to sit there like Dee does and do the beautiful art that she does in those coloring books. And Dee is probably the best example out there in the people that I know of how you can take coloring book art and make it your own and make it art. Make it your own artistic expression. But here back in 1980, she's talking about a coloring book being the most prevalent form of dictated art. How does that affect the child? I colored in books when I was a child. I remember Mom going to the store and buying books on 50 states in the United States and how we would color Mount Rushmore. So I'm going to say that I've never colored in books, and I think I enjoyed my coloring books when I was a child. But it makes me think, what if I didn't have all those coloring books? Now, I didn't have stacks and stacks of them. My parents couldn't afford it, but I did have coloring books back then. But here's what she said. It causes loss of creativeness as there is no stimulation of the imagination. So she's saying, if you're sitting there coloring in a book, it doesn't stimulate your imagination. So I find myself, like I said, here if I was being taught that in an art education class, I would rebel. And this is one reason why, not the only reason why, but one reason why I didn't get along with my art teachers. And I don't think we really had discussions about coloring book art there. My rebellion mostly was centered around grading. I did not think that art should be graded. And I had a hard time grading somebody's art. Now, today they probably have different forms of grading than ABC grades. And I know all that, so I think it's probably improved. But grading in mathematics bothers me. Grading in social studies bothers me. But grading in art should just be, there should be no ABC grades in art. That just I rebel at that point. I had a lot of differences of opinion, and they would say, well, Mary, if you're that, if you're that vocal about it, if you're that stubborn about it, go start your own school. And that got me into looking at these Montessori schools and some of the things that were going on. And I just got so tired of it that I left art education altogether. I wandered around for a while. I dropped out of the university and I went to business school. And I took up a legal assistant program, which I did. I got A+ in it. I graduated with honors with the legal assistant program. But the problem then, in the early 70s, the mid 70s, legal assistant was such a new field. They say, well, you're not an attorney, so, you just can't win some days. And I didn't want to be a legal secretary. I wanted to be a legal assistant. And a lot of the law firms did not have developed programs then for legal assistants. It's different today, thank God. But then I wandered into the computer programming area, computer science, which I should have been in from the very start. The coding. I loved the coding. There I excelled. I loved it. I loved it. And I still love it. But I don't like the office politics. But anyway, getting back to coloring books, I'm just pointing out one way in which here's this lady who had a doctorate in art education. Children of individual expression, since they cannot express their own relationship to the subject. For instance, if the subject to color is a dog, they cannot express their own feeling about dogs. Well, now I think really young kids will rebel. I think if they want to color a dog pink, they will. They bring it home and they show it to their parents, and their parents go, why did you make that dog pink? Because it was a little girl dog. Did I buffer out here? Are you guys buffering? Am I still going? Am I back now? How much did you hear? I think you see, when I get into controversy, I think YouTube pulls the plug. How much did you hear about my coloring book conversation? Let's go back to me here. Hit refresh. You heard some of it. I was reading her thoughts here. She said it causes loss of creativeness. Now, I want to emphasize again, this was in 1980, but this is how they thought back in 1980 at the PhD level. And I would say she was probably pretty representative of how they thought. It causes loss of creativity. And they're talking about color books being dictated art. Coloring books are the most prevalent form. It has a detrimental effect on children's self-confidence and independent thinking. It deprives children of individual expression since they cannot express their own relationship to the subject. And what I was saying here before, it looked like it bombed out on me. I think a young kid will express themselves regardless. If they want to color their little dog pink, they will, in the primary grades. Kindergarten. If I came home with a pink dog, my parents would probably, why did you color that dog pink? And I'd say, because it was a little girl dog, and little girl dogs are pink. Little boy dogs are brown. That would probably be my response. So I think young kids are still fresh enough in their concept that they will color their dogs pink if they want, or their cows purple. It says they provide no emotional release because it gives the children no opportunity to express their own experience and thus relieve the tension, joy, hate, fear, and so on. See, I so disagree with their thought process on there. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, she has a lot of things about dictated art. She says dictated art is not art, but a contradiction of it, for every art form must be conceived and executed by the person undertaking it. So she's saying Dictated art is art that's given to you to do. It is not art that's coming from within you. That's what she's saying dictated art is. And if I looked at dictated art minus the coloring book conversation here, I might agree with her, because I do think art is expression. Art should come from within. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking art that's given to you and coloring it. Although I'm not a coloring book person. My main reason is I don't have the patience. I'm more of a put it down there, get it done type person, and I'm more of a expressionistic person than somebody who would sit there and do all the shading on a flower. I don't have that patience. Personality wise, I don't have that patience. But that's a whole different thing than coloring book for. And also, I do think that I tend to want to do my own art rather than coloring a flower that's been, printed on the page. But on the other hand, you can take that flower that's been printed on the page and do like Dee Dee does and make it your own art. I think that concept of coloring books, and I'll bet you that if I read an article about dictated art on the child, the effect of it, instead of 1980, if I would read a book that was published in 2018 or 2019, this whole chapter would change. But I'm reading this to show you how people thought back then, how educators thought at the doctorate level. But there's a lot of things in here I agree with. I'm not saying that the whole book is wrong. I'm just pointing out this section on coloring books because I found it very interesting. I also found it very much an expression of why I did not agree with some of what was being pushed on me at the university level. And I eventually just dropped out and went to business school. So there's my rant for the day. It's not really a rant. It's just it's something to think about. I got this book at Goodwill too, a handbook on porcelain marks by Clifford Schlegelmilch in collaboration with Louise J. Schlegelmilch or something like that, published in 1970. But I bought it because of the cover, and I love this. I love this on the back. Look at that. How cool is that? How cool is this? So yeah, I'm going to do a little, this was stapled together. And I love all these little porcelain pieces. I'm going to get out I have a staple remover someplace, but I never can find, and that staple's so old it broke right in half. Or maybe that is the half. They stapled it from the outside in here. Good. It's not so old that it broke in half. It was stapled from the outside in. Excuse my initial reaction to it. I was wrong. I have to giggle. Mary, you admitted you were wrong. Oh, I need my pliers. I stuck them back in here. I buy things like this to deconstruct. I think I paid 99 cents for it. And let me tell you, if I went to a big box art store and got this and this and everything else that I'm going to fussy cut in here, I'd be paying $7 or $8. So I am a thrift store aficionado. I dread the day that we no longer find our printed materials like this that I can cut. I have a vase. This is a Warwick vase. I can tell you right now that is Warwick. I know because of that lady. Warwick vase. I'm going to fussy cut it. And let's get my fussy cut scissors out here. So you heard Mary ramble on this morning. Now you know the mind of Mary on those things. I don't know if I'd want to be an educator today. With all the school, I don't know. I'm not even sure that if I had kids today that I'd send them to a public school. I understand about all the social influences, that they get going to a public school versus a private school. And I understand that there's just as much danger of drugs and shootings in a private school as there is in a public school. But on the other hand, I think I would want just a little bit more control over my child's education. I think that Leather and Jade homeschools her child. I'm very much a homeschool. I think Lisa does at My Eclectic Life, homeschooled her kids. I'm very much a homeschool supporter, and that got me in trouble with my teachers at the university level, because homeschooling in the mid 1970s, the late 60s, just like the legal assistant program, homeschooling was not accepted very well by the State Education Association in Nebraska. I'm saving their name. It took away their control. And now, of course, if you homeschooled a kid, they wouldn't get the social part, and you were dumb. You weren't as smart as the teachers that were trained. But if you look at early American education, those kids were homeschooled. Most of them were homeschooled. They were taught by either their mothers or fathers or their sisters that were 16 years old. So I'm very much in support of homeschooling kids in today's world, and you can socialize them in other ways. So I was very much on the rebellious side in the art education, and I just eventually said no way and left that world, which is kind of sad because I love the arts and I love sharing the art, but I don't know if I'd want to do it in today's public schools. I'm glad that I wandered into other areas, because as far as making money, I made a lot more money being a computer programmer than I ever would have as being a school teacher, which is another topic for conversation. And I'm rambling and not reading here. So now you kind of know my background there. Let's see. Tony says, things will only change when there are other platforms for people to do the same thing. We're talking about YouTube. Don't you think it's strange how they gobble up anyone that gets the foot in the door? Yes, I do. New businesses that get a start and are really successful. I can tell you, insurance companies. I mean, it's outside of YouTube. I mean, insurance companies, department stores, whatever. If you start a new business and you're doing really great, or just say that you're a regional business and you're doing real good regionally, they'll get you. You are in, what do you want to say? You are a target for a takeover? I don't know. Business barons. Money is the bottom line in a lot of those companies. And money is very important, but when you lose your customer service, and that's where I think YouTube is heading down a wrong path. They have their content makers, and those people like me that are out there, even the biggie content makers. That's YouTube's. If YouTube had to hire each person like the book editors do, They have, or the big book publishers, they have all the editors, and you have to submit your articles for publication, and you handle rejections, blah, 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 blah. If we had to do that on YouTube, I think YouTube would go down the tubes. And I think they're very much in danger of doing that if they want to do that. There's just all these smaller channels that are out there on YouTube. I don't think they recognize us as having as much value as what we're probably giving to them. I'm liking these. So now let me just go in and deconstruct some more of this. I have to decide what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, because it's going to be a choice thing here. And I'm thinking that although I really like these, I get more over here. So I'll probably go with these. And I'm going to keep this with these if I want it. We'll see. And this is text, good jelly print paper. Germany in 1861. We'll keep that. I have to see what's on the back. I did not read this. I got it for the pictures. Oh, look, it's got all those watermarks, or all the marks on it. Now, these are probably not German, because, they're probably these are German. These are probably all German and Prussian. But I'll have to tell you, this is a Warwick vase, and Warwick uses this design. Let's put it that way. I don't see Warwick on here because Warwick is in the United States, or was in the United States. I don't see any reference. I'd have to read here. Any references to the front and back. I'm not going to read it right now, unless it stands out to color plates, photography, acknowledgments. I'd have to read closer to see who, on the front and back, who made these. So I'm going to keep that. Got the I think this is the back. I'm going to keep those. Seoul Town Square, the history of porcelain. So this is history information. This will be interesting reading. Let's cut it out. I might put a little of that in my art journal. So we're getting into these colored pieces. I'm going to have to make choices here. I'm not going to belabor it. I'll just make a choice and go with it. Ooh, love this. A lot of this reminds me of pieces that my mother had. Her great aunt, my great great aunt, was Pennsylvania Dutch. And I think they came over from Germany. I'd have to research that a little bit more. This has got history on the back, but it have history. Yeah, it does in here. So, these won't be as hard to decide, except for I'll probably go in and read a little bit more about this. I'm just disassembling it now. Oops. Looks like I got some black on that, which is okay. Okay. And then these are front pages. This is page 40. It's page 6. goes like this. This is page 22 and page 23, 25, 27, 29. I like how they did this, though, because they have text on one side and the pictures on the other side. So I'm only ruining text on these. Ooh, this is striking. So I'm not going to fussy cut any of these right now. I'll leave that for another day. What really interests me is this. And I think I'm going to pull this out. This one. And I cut the cover apart. I think what I'm going to do is do some ATCs in my art journal. That's what you guys are talking about. I buffered. You missed almost all over it. You missed almost all of it? Good. It's probably a good thing. You know I hate books being ruined, but that one you can burn it. It's a bunch of BS. Well, it's BS today. It was BS yesterday if you had the courage to disagree, but it was very prevalent thinking in the education area that she had a PhD in education, and that was how they thought back then. And Mary rebelled. I was a quiet rebel. I didn't carry a sign and walk in front of the doors at the art building, but I was a quiet rebel back then. I just didn't agree with it. Mary, you know I hate. Let's see. Christy said good morning. Oh, I think she left. Linda said she's got to get dressed. She'll be back in a few. Ezra says, I think those effects really depends on the person coloring. Some people think that they cannot draw or paint or create, and it's just that they never gave themselves a chance to try. And here's the thing. When they finally did give themselves a chance to try, if it didn't turn out, which 50% of the time it probably wouldn't the first attempt, and if they showed it to somebody, they might have gotten discouraged and never picked it up again. Think, oh, I'm not talented. So, I don't know. I have a cousin that colors, but she doesn't think she can draw. It makes me sad when I hear people say I can't. Yep. I think that what kills creativity is not having encouragement to learning and support, and people that like to control them telling you, no, this is the right way or the wrong way. Yeah. And I think, truthfully, I think that point that you're making, Azure, is one of the advantages that we have today in YouTube, in that we find people that are like-minded with us, and so we can kind of refute that. Let's see, I need 3.5. I haven't found my ruler yet. I need 3.5 inches. I think what I'll do, it would have to be cut there. I think I'll cut it. Let's see if I put it down here, or maybe I should go with this side because it fits better. Well, maybe it doesn't fit so better. I like this. Maybe I could get a little off of both. I can probably trim it here. And here again, I'm not shooting for perfection here. And this has nothing to do with deco art. This just has to do with me finding this and thinking it's really cool. I'll cut this off here. What am I cutting there? Yeah. I love the prices on some of these. 72 cents, 95 cents, $4.10, $2.25. I'd love to go shopping there today. They're probably $72, $95, $410. Prices are not the same today. I like this. If I bring it down, I can cut it right about there and right about here and right about, let me get in on the other side. I'm going to cut this out. I have to make a choice. If I'm going to use it, I have to choose what I want. It seems a little tall to me. Take all these cards. Oh, I knew that was going to be a little controversial reading it, but I started out my day with controversy, so about YouTube. Not controversy, it was more about what would happen if I could not stream. What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I didn't stream? I don't think that's really a rant against YouTube. I'm just saying what would happen if they disappeared. I like that. Now, I think I'll use this as a guide. I like this one. So maybe if I go in here, I shouldn't be using one of my good ones though. Let's get out a one that's not, yeah. Mary's talking to herself. Let's see. Do I want it up in here maybe? No, that one doesn't. This one fits. And I'm liking, is that a short one? I think I pulled the short one out. Let's get one that the right size, Mary. There we go. Put that one back in. This may fit better. Ooh, this one. Yeah, I guess. I think I'm going to go with this. And that will take these. But I can come over here and get maybe in there. I'm picking and choosing. I'm being choosy about what I want to put as my ATCs. And here again, these are not Art Deco. It's just what I like when I saw this book. They appealed to me. I'm going to push that up a little more maybe, and over a little more. Yeah, I'm still thinking about what would get me up in the morning. YouTube gets me up in the morning to do my streams at 4 o'clock in the morning. What would I find that I would be as enthused about? Now, art, I would if I don't know. But, and maybe if I could garden, that might get me up and start my own little flower field. That might get me up in the mornings in the summer. I kind of like that. I have to trim it just a little bit more. Trim it on this side even though it's... That one's a little long, but I don't want to cut any more off of it. Or do I? Let's cut a little long down here. I don't want to cut it at the top. What gets you up in the morning? What starts your day? Is it you have to get up? Do you have to get up and start your day because you have to go work? I mean, that's a legitimate reason to get up. But if you didn't have to work in the morning, what would get you going? What would get you going in the morning? Let's see what's on the other side. Yeah, I'm going to cut into those coffee cups. Well, so be it. It's either the coffee cups or these. And I don't, if I cut the coffee cups, I'd have to cut them that way. So I think I'll do these. What gets you up in the morning? What starts your day other than you can't sleep? It's a good thing to think about. Now, if you lived on a farm, you might, and even if you were retired, you might have to get up and do the chores in the morning. Look, I got a blank spot there. You might have to get up and that's crooked. I'm going to cut it crooked. Get up and clean the house and dust the floors. You know, I probably did that as... I'm not sure house cleaning would get me up in the morning. Maybe your husband works or something. You have to get up because he has to get up. Get up to take care of your family. I don't have that issue in my life, but I could see where a lot of you do. Maybe you're working on a project. Get up and work on that project. I think I'm going to make my other one right in here. Maybe over a little bit. I had to be picky and choosy on these. Sorry about that. But I like my ATCs. I like where these are going. Oops. Marked on that. That's why I got out a one that I don't care about. Or an extra one. I care about it, but these remind me of the borders that we did on Becky's ATCs of teapots last week. Becky's stream, her borders, she did teapots. I didn't look at this. Maybe I should have. I'm going to trim it just a little bit more here. Alrighty. Now I'm going to glue these in. Let's look at chat. Ooh, it's 6:30. Hi, Mina. Good morning, Mina. Hi, Crafty Sunshine. Happy Ray of Crafty Sunshine. Are you Ray? Ray, your icon is black. Good morning, Ray. Hi, Lynn J is making her way to work. She has to get up and go to work. Ugh. Hi, Arlene. Good morning. What would get me up is my coffee and bagel and my dog. Well, that's a good reason. Take care of your pets. That would get you up in the morning. I would probably have to get a pet. If I didn't have YouTube, I'd probably have to. I was thinking about that the other night, how I'd like to have a little dog in the house. My brother doesn't want animals in the house. So I would probably, if I didn't have YouTube, though, I'd probably have to say, but I'll take care of him. Ray is here. Azure says, I think I was lucky. I had a very creative childhood. My mom could do anything with nothing. I loved my crayons when I was a kid. Coloring books were my friends. I think what kills creativity, I'm reading Azure's comments. Azure's saying all this. I think that what kills creativity is not having encouragement to the learning and support, and people that like to control telling them, no, this is the right way or the wrong way. I think you're right, Azure. And I had a very creative mother. She would read. She liked to read. My mother had an 8th grade education. She dropped out of school in 8th grade. She was, it was those times when they did. School was not as important to completing your education was not as important back then for her social class. But on the other hand, she read all of her life. She worked crossword puzzle like crazy. My mother was very creative. I can remember the summer, one of my first drawings, and I still have it, and I've told this before. I'd like to go get it, is one summer, when I was a kid, I was probably about my grandniece's age, probably about 8 or 9 years old, maybe a little bit older, 10 or 12. During the summer, what can I do? What can I do? And my mother took me out by the windmill, and she drew a picture of the barn and the cows and the windmill. And she handed it all to me and said, now you do it. And she walked in the house. And I have her picture that she drew, and then mounted on a piece of mat board. I have hers up at the top and then mine below. I'd love to have that. I still have it. I'd like to have it with me. It was one of the things I probably credit my mother's creativity for my art. And I would bet you, if you could be a fly on the wall and go back and listen to those days, I would bet you, now I probably didn't recognize it at the time, but I'll bet you that my mother said very encouraging things to me that would keep me continue creating. I don't remember her. All I remember my mother saying was, get your bangs out of your eyes. She would say that to me all the time in high school. Get your bangs out of your eyes. But I'll bet you that my mother said and encouraged my art. I'll bet she did. And I just don't remember. When you're a kid, you're very, I hate to say self-centered, but children are most children are. Not all of them. Some of them are very other-centered. But when you're a youngster, you're very much into your world and discovering the world. I was probably a little more self-centered then than I am now, but hopefully. Hopefully I'm not as self-centered now. But I'll bet you it was my mother who... All right, we've got all of these left. And I'm thinking at this spot here, do I have something small enough? I've got this little one that could fit right in there. What's on the back? There's no food. There's this one too, but it's a little tall. Yeah, I'm going to go for this little one right here. Where's my little scissors? I don't know what I did with them. Here they are. Yeah, I only read that paragraph out of those books because I wanted you to see what the thinking was back then compared to today. I think our whole attitude toward coloring books has changed, not only for the people that do the coloring books, but the people that create the coloring books. Oh my goodness, the creativity out there. They're not just little pictures of bunny rabbits. I mean, all those coloring books that Dee Dee works in, C.L. Aldrich, her coloring books, and, you know, coloring books that you can't just go to the Dollar General and buy or the dollar store and buy. There are beautiful, wonderful, creative coloring books out there. Just awesome, awesome coloring books. Now, I don't have my ruler. I don't know. I lost my ruler. I'm going to have to clean my room. Find my ruler. I'm going to do some marking around this. Now, how could I Art Deco this? That's what I'm going to do. Even though these are not Art Deco, I'm not going to touch the center of these, but I'm going to do some Art Deco, and I need to get this page here underneath of it. But let's talk positive. What gets me up at 4 o'clock on a Monday morning? YouTube. Talking to all of you. I can't tell you what it means to me to have you come in and say good morning to me. That's a very positive influence in my life. You guys are influencing me. And look, I got Norma's bracelets on this morning. I would very much miss, even though I get frustrated with YouTube. I get frustrated with some of the things that they do, but I would very much miss it. Do I need to zoom out one? Because let me get to my camera. I would very much miss it if I didn't have YouTube. Very, very much miss YouTube. So I hope that they have the sense not to mess with things too much in their future manipulations of the algorithm. I would hope that they would realize that there are people. YouTube started out as being YouTube. Well, now I can't really say because it started in 2006 and that was before my time. If I remember right, the creators had to have a certain amount of subscribers. You know, they had to what do I want to say? They had to submit to a certain amount of guidelines that we don't in today's world. Then YouTube got very free with things, and these aren't glued down good. Then anybody could come on and start a channel now and monetize. And now they're putting those guidelines back, like you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time and all of that. somebody with more expertise could tell you about all of that. More expertise than I have. This is my pop-up book that I did with Tanya. She didn't do one yesterday, but I want it for a ruler here. I guess I do. I want to go by these lines here. I can't see it very well. Right in there. I'm using this as my ruler. I guess I'll do it here. It's going to be kind of hard on this side. Maybe I'll only do it halfway down, or part of the way down. Didn't quite meet the... There we go. That's all I want to do. Okay. So now what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it freehand, I think, is, what do I want to do? I could see it in my head, I think. Let's see, I don't have to measure, but 1/2, 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right about in here. Let's just bring it out this way. Whoops, I wanted that to go to the center dot. Doesn't have to be the same. But it would be nice if it were. Do a shell-like structure here with the double lines. And bring it from here to maybe about to here. And yeah, I kind of like that. That could be a little bit more, but it would be if this wasn't taking the, and this is skinnier in here. I didn't have it. Well, I got the margin here. It's actually skinny here and skinny there, but this is skinnier than this. So I'll just move it like this, and maybe I'll bring it like that. Maybe I'll just curve this in like that and bring it out a little bit more. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with it. Now this, let's just play with this. So I've taken this very ornate and I'm making it not so ornate in here. And I might be getting too much in here, but oh well. Let's just bring it here and let's put a circle. Just because I feel like an off-centered circle. That's what's happening there. Oh yeah, Mary. That is real artistic of you. Mary, what are you doing? I'm playing. I'm playing. Now I brought this one down and this one does not come down as far. Oops. It's not exactly going to mirror each other. Let's keep playing. I'm playing. Let's see what you guys are saying to me. Oops. Hi, Ray. Good morning, Tony. Aunt Beck is eating some loaded oatmeal with apples and seeds. Oh, you're making me hungry, Aunt Beck. You're liking the flow? Well, these are very much ornate porcelain pieces out of Prussia. And this is very much Art Deco, which is probably like these are probably 1898 to 1920, 1920s, probably in here. But then Art Deco is the 20s and 30s. Hi, Anne. Good morning, Anne Lar. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I did a factory reset. I learned how to do a factory reset. We are up early today as we have to get Scott's car in the garage. His silver bullet. I heard you guys talking yesterday. Your silver bullet. Gang. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from the UK, Sue Hennessy says. Good morning, Sue. Welcome. And Beck says, gang. Teresa had to leave. Arlene says, gardening gets me up. I make myself do all the garden work before I get online. See, I think my question this morning for those of you who came in was about time. And I was remarking about what gets me up in the morning. What if I didn't stream in the mornings at 4:30. What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? And that really gives you pause to think. Let's get out these. Where did I put them? My super tip Crayolas from DD Inspired. I can't find them right offhand, so I'm going to use markers. What would get you up at 4 o'clock in the morning? If you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, some of you do, because some of you are in here. These are the fine tip ones. Let's get some of these out. That was my question to me. What would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I couldn't do YouTube? And I have to say, I'd have to think about it carefully because I'm pulling on the wrong side. I'm not sure. I didn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning before. So YouTube has really had an influence on me that way. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do my streams. What would motivate me to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? And I think the closest I came to was I was reading Arlene's comment about gardening. I think the closest thing that I come to is maybe if I could get up and garden in my world. You know, there are some of you have to get up to take care of your pets and your family and go to work, all of that. I don't have that in my world. So what would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I couldn't get up and stream? I'm not sure. There's probably not much. I can tell you I would not get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to wash dishes. I would not get up at 4 o'clock in the morning I would probably stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning if I was reading a good book. But I would not probably get up consistently at 4 o'clock in the morning just to read books. Now, in our society, when we had a lot of farm people, a lot of farmers and everything, they would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do chores. A lot of even my classmates, I never had to do chores at 4 o'clock in the morning, but a lot of my classmates, their moms and dads farmed, so they had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do chores. And they probably still get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. If you work in a hospital or that type of an environment or nursing home, you might need to, or if you work at all, you might get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to do what you need to do before you go to work. So it's good to think about if YouTube was all of a sudden pulled away from me. Let's just say YouTube made a rule. Now they're not. Don't email me, folks. As Dee Dee says, don't email me. Don't start a rumor. But what if YouTube started a rule saying, in order to even have a channel, if in, say, your first year, you don't have 50,000 subscribers, you lose your channel. Think how that would, you think of the effect, think what people would do. Talk about bots. But what if they made some crazy rules out there so that I couldn't meet? I mean, I've been going for, of course, I don't push like some people do. I mean, I don't hustle. Like, I didn't mean push, I mean hustle. A lot of people hustle to get their subscribers. I don't hustle. I figure people will come if they want to. But I've been on YouTube for about 6 years and I don't have 10,000 subscribers yet. And but then again, like I said, I don't hustle to get subscribers. I don't do all these crazy shenanigans to get a subscriber. And back when YouTube first started, a high subscriber count meant something. Now it's your view time and your watch time. But what would get me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? That's my point. And what if I didn't have what I have? It makes you stop and think. What is plan B? And also, it makes you stop and think, what am I relying on that maybe I shouldn't be relying on? Am I too dependent on doing my YouTube that if I would lose it somehow, how would that affect me? Would I have another way to express myself? Am I too dependent on well, let's just say in the working world, if you lost your job, how long would it take for you to get another one? Are you too dependent on your employer? Let's just say that they went out of business. What would you do? Those type of things. I'm kind of getting, so I like this design now. I want to put more. Well, I know some things I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for, but not very many things. And that really gives you pause to ponder. What is the value? Well, I obviously find value in doing this. I like to do the art in the morning. I get a lot done, but I also like to talk to all of you guys. I like meeting people online. Let's go up and do the same up here. I like studying art, like Art Deco. So I might still do things like that, but would I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do it? I'm not sure. I never used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, even when I had my channel. But then I worked too. I get up at 6 o'clock, get ready and go to work. An hour drive to work. Let's do some more of this. And on the positive side of YouTube, I wonder if they realize, and they probably do, but they should maybe build on it a little bit more. I didn't mean to color that in, but I did. How they have helped senior citizens. I think YouTube, if you look at YouTube, there are a lot of youngsters out on YouTube. As far as who runs the place, you don't see a whole lot of 50 and 60-year-old. If you would go to this creative insider group, they're all young people. And I call them youngsters. They're probably in their 20s and 30s, maybe 30. I don't see any gray-haired people out there on Creator Insider. And I think that they need to focus more on the retired folks. There are a lot of retired people who watch YouTube all the time, and a lot of creators are retired. I'm beginning to like this a lot. I need another line in here, though. So if YouTube sent me, well, it isn't going to do any good to send me a survey, YouTube, because I don't feel like you read them. But somebody from YouTube, Susan, the CEO, called me up on the phone, or even said, "Meri, let's Zoom." YouTube Zoom. And said to me, "Meri, where do you think we should put some of our focus?" Not all of it, because I think the young people deserve YouTube. I mean, there's a lot going on out there for them. Where's my card that I was using? Here it is. But if she would say to me, "Where do you think that we should put some of our time?" I would tell her that seniors, don't leave us out. There's a lot of talent. Yeah, we may die off eventually, but there's a lot of talent out there in the senior community. on YouTube, and even as creators. A lot of the creators that get the high, and I shouldn't say that because I don't have all the facts, but a lot of them are just young people, is what I'm saying. Yeah. I would cater more, I would tell Susan to cater more to the 60 plus group. Find out, so I put that in there, and now I'm marking on it. Oh well, let's not mark on it all the way then. And I'm not ranting about YouTube this morning. I'm just talking. I'm talking about what gets me up in the morning. And I think YouTube doesn't realize how much the senior people, the seniors in our society, maybe they do, I don't know, but I don't see them really catering. Maybe I'm not watching for it either, though. Maybe I'm not watching for it. I kind of like that. I'm going to make that a different color. A lot of retired people. And as our culture, as the baby boomers age, there's going to be a lot more, I think, out here creating YouTube channels. Or other types of channels, other types of online media. I think that's a very good thing. Facebook has been very good for senior people. The seniors, the grandmas and the grandpas. Mary's just talking while I do my art here. Mm-hmm. My pen isn't the best here, but I'm having fun. Let's just do that by hand and that by hand. Sugar and creamer, a moneymaker. I have to laugh at some of the prices on here. $1.25. Today it would be $125. 69 cents for this porcelain cherry tray. Today it would be $69. Yeah, I like that. When I get those colored in, you'll see it a lot better here. Yeah, YouTube, as much as I rant about it when I get frustrated, they do provide very much a service in my day. I would miss it terribly if I couldn't stream. I'd miss all of you. I'd miss you. I'd probably have to find another way to find you, but it would take a bite out of my life. truthfully, if Linda, whatever her name is, Wysocki or whatever I forget her last name, if she called me, I would probably say, "Are you really her?" I don't believe you are who you say you are. I think I'm going to go with the same color of green here. Should I put in a different color? Maybe I don't want pink. And not purple, blue. Blue. Uh-oh. My tape stuck to it. My tape stuck to my page. I don't want brown. How about this? Lavender color. This is pink. How about orange? I like orange. That'll bring it out. Let's do orange in here. So these are just catalog pictures that were in the back of that book I got at Goodwill. How fun it is to take something like this and create a page with it. How fun it is to do this type of art. I think we're predicted to have some more rainy weather this week, so our lawn hasn't been mowed yet. Let's see what you guys are saying to Mary. Ann said, "Good morning, gang." Sue, Ray is waving to Sue. Aunt Beck is eating oatmeal. Tony said, "Good morning" to Aunt Beck. Ann said, "Good morning" to Tony and Ray. Aunt Beck said, "Cats get her up in the morning." And Bernadette gets her up. I love Bernadette. I love Bernadette. Yeah, Aunt Beck, I would have to say if I didn't have YouTube, I would probably want a pet, a dog or a kitty cat. Linda said, "Did I miss anything?" No, you just heard me talking about the same thing. I mean, I just rambled on, Linda. When I had to be at work at 6 a.m., I loved the moon sets. Now that's a good point. Watch the moon go down. Ray, I'm up at 4 because I have trouble sleeping. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have a lot of sleepless nights, but when I sleep good. So I can identify with that a little. Hi, Vanessa. Good morning, Vanessa. Came in the house. That time between the moon setting and the sun rising is magical. It is, Aunt Beck. It really is. Those pre-dawn hours when the world is just waking up. The world's waking up. Yeah. And I keep my blind closed here in the front of my desk, but it's fun to watch the sun come up, but when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's dark out there and I don't like the idea of people looking in. So I keep it closed. But yeah, those pre-dawn hours are just, those are really, like you said, they're magical hours. We're talking about sleep apnea. Aunt Beck said she would find something else to do. I think I would too, but it's making me think, what would I do? And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's made me stop and think about where would I go? What would I do? It made me stop and think, what would I do? Ray, let's see. Unfortunately, I have no control over the naps. I just get extremely sleepy during the day. Well, then, I nap during the day, Ray. I nap during the day. I figure we're retired. We're entitled to our naps. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'll bet you that there are a lot of geniuses that nap during the day. I think you need to sleep when your body says sleep. I don't think there's, I know a lot of people ask me how can I be on as much as I am and not ever get. It seems to you guys that I never get tired, but I do get tired. I sleep when I'm tired. I take a lot of breaks during the weekend. Like Saturdays are really my down days. I'll sit out there in that recliner and watch YouTube sometimes all day. If I'm not watching YouTube, I try to go watch a movie or I'll read magazines or Fussy Cut. Saturdays are my down days. Sunday mornings, I kind of like to myself for spiritual matters, and it's kind of my God time. Sunday afternoons with Tanya, but that's kind of varies too, depending on if I have to mow the lawn or something else is going on, family things, stuff like that. Then the week starts all over again. Ray, my son has a friend with narcolepsy and she struggles so. My heart goes out to anybody with sleep issues. Vanessa says she's the same. She gets tired faster during the day. Well, in my case, I worked a lot of night hours. I used to work the midnight to 7 hours. Different jobs. One, in a nursing home, I worked that midnight shift. But also I worked when I was younger and they had data processing. Data processing used to be midnight shift at this big mail order company that in Lincoln. I used to work their midnight shift. They ran 24/7 to fulfill some of those orders. Sent out surveys, marketing surveys and stuff like that. Gosh, how they kept in business. I mean, they must have had 50 of us in there 12 o'clock at night doing key punch and data entry. Aunt Beck and Ray are talking about narcolepsy. Let's see. I'm not going to read all of that. I really believe a lot of my losing sleep is stress related because of my daughter's health issues. YouTube is a lifeline for those of us that are homebound. Yes, that's a really good point. And there's nothing wrong with being homebound. We live different lives, but YouTube, look, I'm way out in the middle of Nebraska in this little town. YouTube gives me a way to get out without having to get in my car and drive any place. And I think Azure was saying the same thing. Although I'm not homebound, I can get in my car and go any place I want, but I really don't want to. I'd rather get on my phone and watch YouTube. Mary, that's never going to happen. The old folk demographic is not high enough on YouTube. The youth have them outnumbered. Well, I think it could happen, Azure, if you're still here because of the baby boomer generation. Not all the baby boomers have retired yet. Well, that's just end it there. Let's see. I'm reading your guys' comments, but I'm not going to read them out loud. Aunt Beck and Ray are having conversations about sleeplessness. Hi, Artsy Wannabe Nancy. I would miss TV, but would really miss all the fibs and the great info on it. YouTube, yes. Yeah, think about our television. Our TV channels. Now, we don't watch a lot of TV here, but I used to watch. Well, I didn't say that I really did watch a lot of television. When I was maybe in high school, I probably watched more, but when I went to the university, I went to college, I got away from it because I worked so much. and I had classes and all of that. And then when I got out of school, I worked 2 jobs to survive or to try to survive. So I didn't watch a lot of soap operas and that. I did watch Dallas because it was on, I think, Friday nights. But Friday nights now I do YouTube. Let's see. They're saying good morning to Nancy and Vanessa. My dog was always happy when her hair was cut. Don't remind me of the groomer, Vanessa. I need to take both my dogs for a complete overhaul. And now we're talking about doggies. Azure says, what's sleep? I'm up every hour on the hour, Mary. What time I go to sleep? Oh, no matter what time I go to sleep. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm up. Like last night, I only got up once, and that was a little before 3 o'clock this morning. I got up, and I was up for the morning. I got up and I bathed and changed my clothes and did all my morning routine. I don't do a routine, but I do clean up a little and made my coffee. If I have any laundry to do, I'll throw it in the washer. I didn't this morning. And then I come in here while my coffee's brewing. I'll come in here and turn on my laptop and plug my Ethernet in, get the lights on, and pretty soon it's time to come on. Albert Einstein napped. Yes. Azure, then I can nap too, Linda says. Yes, if Albert did, you can, Linda. I do some of my best work while I'm sleeping, Tony says. I used to work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and did not sleep. Yeah, you get those late hours, and it's kind of hard to, once your body gets into that routine, it's hard to switch. You know what's really hard on these people that have to, like where my nephew works, he'll work like a month or so at one shift, and then they'll switch him from the afternoon shift to the night shift, and then a couple months down the road he's working the morning shift. How does your body clock ever get set? I don't know. Ray says she likes to watch certain programs with her daughter. Yeah, when you have somebody that you're watching it with, I think that's a good thing. Let's see, what do I want to do? What do I want to do on this? Do I want to leave it? Of course not. Of course not. Let's see what color this is. Now, I am going to do the margin here. Of course, I don't want to leave it alone. Well, this is the thing. I do appreciate YouTube. I rant. I rant about them, you've heard my rants. But I do appreciate them. I appreciate being able to stream in the morning. So YouTube, if you're listening, Mr. AI machine, I truthfully think they should get rid of that AI machine. Now he'll probably get rid of me. See, what I have here is pink, and that would be this pink in here, but I also have a margin out here. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I'd like for this to be pink, but I have that margin there. I guess I'll just make them both pink. And look, I missed the green. Some green lines in here. Pink, green, and orange. I like this. I haven't decided what I want to do with that margin. I might make it a brown or a black and just say the black. Maybe I'll put some black over here on this page. I think that's how I'll handle it, black. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll start putting these back. I'm done with these. Yeah. I have to tape this shut or my markers will fall out. It's getting used. All right, let's take my black. Of course, I didn't put pink all the way there, so I'll just make it black. Not the right one. Let's get, do I have a chisel tip one here? It's getting used. All right, I think what I'll do is put a black line over here on this page to kind of complement this black line, although it's not going to go clear in there. There we go. All righty. So I did some ATCs this morning. Ooh, look at the back. Look at the back of it. Get it more in the frame of the... Look at the back. I like the back as well as I like the front. And let's see. I know I've showed Aunt Bex, but I don't think I've shown him the morning stream. Let's zoom in one here. Let me zoom in one. My laptop is cooperating with me this morning. And got the teapots. She did these borders in her stream last Wednesday night. We did teapots and owls and feathers. These are my feathers, are kind of dark. Seashells and squirrels and mice. And I decided that the mice have a little bit more of a V nose than a squirrel does. And their ears might be a little more pointy. But their body shapes are almost the same, but their tail, the squirrel has a fluffy tail and the mouse doesn't have any hair on his tail. He's got a little stringy tail. And ferns and snails. That was so fun to do. So Aunt Beck is doing borders in her streams. And then I did my Art Deco borders in my videos. I've been putting them up where they are. I'm filling this book up. Well, I chattered a lot this morning. I'm looking for my borders. They're here someplace. We got a lot of chattering done. Did this Friday night. Let's come back out one here. I did this one Friday night. Here are my borders. My Chrysler building borders. And I have to tell you, I like them better as a group than I do. This one, you haven't seen the video for this one. It's coming up later today. But I like this whole page as a group more than I do as I did them individual. After I got about the third one on there like this, I started liking them. That's probably all I'll do on the, I was reading Janet's comment about there being eagle gargoyles. I'd like to go get a picture of those if it's on there someplace. I might do those off of the Chrysler building, but I'm going to go to, I wanted to do 8 borders, but I might stick with only 4. I wanted to do 8 borders because Aunt Beck is, but I filled up this page, and I think for week 2 I'll just do another 4 because I'm a week behind Aunt Beck. So, and then the other thing we did, I think I took it out, the mind mapping. I think I took it out because I'm going to work on it. Did I take out the mind map? Friday night we did that mind map. No, Destiny here. We started, I haven't worked on this. We started mind mapping a character in our Miss Mary story. Well, not really mind map. This is a mind map, but we worked off of another mind map. So we're making more lists than mind maps because we're doing the lists here. So you guys really aren't the mind map is done, but we're listing like all the characteristics of her face and her age. And when I've got a whole bunch more to go. So that's kind of what my art journal is looking like this morning. And then what else did I do this morning? I deconstructed this book about porcelain, history of Schmiegelmilch porcelain. I'm going to have to read this a little bit more before I rip it all up. Did the fussy cuts there. These are really pretty. And I cut apart stencils. We did some stenciling. I don't know if I can get to it. Stenciling in my dictionary here. I cut apart stencils this morning. Of course, I can't find it. There's a lot of pages in here, Mary. That's pretty. I like this. Well, I'm not going to find it. Here it is. Was this what we did this morning? No. Well, we did some stenciling in the dictionary. I can't find it now. Boo. I should do more. It's kind of my wipe-off book. I don't know what happened to it. It's here somewhere. Ooh, I love that. I like this. I get stubborn. I have to go until I find it, but I can't find it. But I did stenciling in my dictionary. And I cut stencils apart. I did those leaf stencils. So we'll just say I cut stencils apart. And I worked in my morning page and I ranted and raved. I didn't rant and rave. I talked about time. Got off on coloring book discussion on dictated art. Where's that book? We talked about dictated art coloring book. Encouraging adult versus inhibiting adult. That's interesting. We'll have to read through that. I'm not going to read it this morning. We talked about dictated art this morning. The effect of dictated art on the child. And she talks about coloring book art. And it's very interesting that this book was published in 1986. So what my point on reading all of that was not to talk about coloring book art, as to talk about what they taught. She had a doctorate in art education, or in education. She taught art. And I was talking more about their philosophy then versus maybe the philosophy of coloring book art today. So we talked about time. What would we do? Let me get my art journal page out here. I'm kind of reviewing what I did this morning. What did you do this morning, Mary? What did you do? How did you spend your time this morning? That was what I did. Right here. We'll put it like this. Just kind of like that. Get these peeking out here. There we go. I like to get all this out because I like to take a picture at the end. That's why I do all of this. And I kind of like to review what I did during the morning. And we chatted. Love those images, Mary. Yeah, I like these. These are cool images. I like these a lot. That's why I bought that little booklet. But I will say, I bought that at, if you're talking about these, I bought this little booklet for 99 cents at the Goodwill. Now, if you bought something, these die cut, to say this is a die cut, because it's very much of a die cut book cover, you know, type thing. It could be very much be a die cut. You'd probably pay 99 cents for something like this, if not more, if you bought it in a retail store. You'd probably be paying at least $1 for these a piece. And then I got all these other things. This is why I bought it over here, because I wanted these. I saw these and I thought, ooh, I'm going to do something with those. And I got all the other pages. So that book was very much worth 99 cents that I paid for it. Hi, Denise, Sparkles and Crafts. Welcome, welcome. Good to hear, Laura. Is Laura in here? Hi, Violet. Good morning, Violet. Hello, hello, Violet. There's Jersey. Good morning, Jersey. Jersey, are you home or are you away from home? Didn't you take off to visit your family or something this past weekend? Are you home now? Good morning, Laura. Linda said goodbye. Linda had to leave. She said, thanks, Mary, for streaming. See you all around. She's got to go do some household stuff. I understand. AARP is very strong voice for baby boomers. Yeah, I used to belong to AARP, and they sent me another subscription notice. I should probably sign up. They're not expensive. They're good. They used to put out this big magazine every month, and I used to read it a lot. I used to enjoy getting that. Good information that they disseminate. Aunt Beck says they're going to other forums and are starting their own websites. Oh, Aunt Beck is off to drop off Scott's car. Okay, and I need to get off too, because in 2 minutes, Dee Dee's going to be on. She's probably on now. So thank you all for coming in. Thank you for spending my Monday morning with me. And I don't always get so chatty in the morning, but I chatted a lot this morning. I love you, you two. Thank you all. Have a great day. And if you have some time, do some art. Bye.